I got 97% in GCSE history and dropped 1 mark in paper 1. I also study history at university, history and politics at Warwick, and so this is one of my speciality subjects. And that's why this video is going to be filled with as much advice as I can possibly fit into the time. Now, the first thing is as well is that in the description is a free link, if you just put in your email, to basically a resource that I've put together with all of my GCSE history flashcards, a bunch of extra advice as well, and it's all completely free, so make sure to get that. Now, history is a really strange exam because a lot of people actually get much lower during their mocks than they do in the real thing. I think teachers tend to just mark this a bit harsher and examiners tend to be a little bit more lenient than you might expect. So even though history was actually my highest exam mark, I thought I'd done the worst in history out of all of my GCSEs. I really thought I bottled paper 1. So the first thing is in terms of the mentality is history is often a little bit easier than it seems, especially if you work hard. I had a student last year who got a 7 in history and he really didn't expect that at all. He didn't work crazy hard in it. So it's definitely a very doable subject if you know how to do it. Now, the first thing that you want to do then is you need to, ahead of this exam, get yourself in the mindset for history. Now, history is best done when you really immerse yourself in it. That's probably the most fun thing about it. It's one of the best subjects to revise, I think, because often it's genuinely interesting. So what you want to do is just summarize your topic, okay? See if you can watch a YouTube video on something like all of Weimar Nazi Germany. I know that's not paper 1 for most exam boards, but for example, all of Weimar Nazi Germany in 5 minutes or all of GCSE Crime and Punishment in 10 minutes. Try and watch a summary video where you can just kind of look at the whole period together. Alternatively, you could create a timeline, look at your own timeline. Just try and, what you want to do is kind of get in the mood, understand what's going on when, and just get a broad overview. So you start quite broad when you're preparing for this history exam, because then what you're going to do is get more and more specific, and that's going to help you a lot more. Now, another thing in terms of content that I really recommend is Seneca. Seneca is great for history. Now, if you've watched any of my videos before, you'll hear me talking about Seneca a lot, but it's really good. And honestly, the history topics take about 30 minutes per topic. So you could actually probably revise all of history, depending on when you're watching this video, if you wanted to, but maybe pick your worst topic and do a Seneca on it as well, just to make sure you've covered that. That's one of the really important things with history in terms of content, is that the exam is very on the day dependent. Because you could get such a niche question when in history that's worth a lot. You know, you could get a question about Henry VIII's foot and asked to evaluate that or something. So my point with that is that sometimes they can ask you specific questions. So if you really want to get a high grade or if you want to do well, you need to make sure you have covered every single point in the specification. To do that, you want to make sure you're focused on your weak points. Just like in my English literature video, you should be asking yourself, what do I not want to come up? What would be the thing I'm so bad at or I'm not going to get marks at? And that's what you want to spend time revising. Now, there is a lot you can do as well, so this shouldn't scare you. Like I said, history is often easier than it seems, but it's really important that you spend time learning key dates, key facts. Now, there's a lot you can learn between now and the exams. You know, I have students that I've worked with before that literally pick up 15, 20 dates within one session, for example. So you can still flashcard stuff, you could still learn stuff. In fact, I'd really recommend you to. If you're aiming for a 9, you want to have some really good facts and dates. Using facts and dates in your history writing is just excellent. You really want to do it. It makes you stand out, especially if you're aiming for a 9. Those can often be really effective. So like I said, if you click the link in the description, you can have a look at the extent that I was writing. But bear in mind that I actually probably went a bit overkill with history, right? So don't be off-put by the amount of flashcards that I made. Now, one thing I'd recommend that you do to guide your revision is look at the specification for your exam board. Now, if you don't know, a specification is basically a simple list with everything that you need to know about. Because they can test you on any part of that specification, it's important to make sure you've got quite broad coverage of that specification. So one thing you could do is print it out, highlight the things you don't know, or go through and color code it, whatever it is, but try and pick out a couple topics where you're actually, I don't really know how I'd answer that, to be honest, or I don't even know what that is, and then learn them. Even if you just do a little bit, that can go really well. I remember the morning of my history exam, I was staring at this piece of paper, trying to quickly learn this thing about prisons for Crime and Punishment at Excel history. And I walked into the exam and that question came up and I used something that I literally learned about 10 minutes before the exam in my exam. So don't give up in terms of what you can learn ahead of this exam, because there's a lot you can learn and you really should try and learn more dates, more facts. That's really important. Now, try and learn some of these key dates, key facts, and this is where AI can be really useful for you. So you can put your specification into AI and then put the question types in your exam and ask it to generate a huge list of potential questions. That's really useful and really, it's just a really useful thing it can do, because when you're revising, you want to be thinking about yes, I've learned this date, but where can I use this? Why would this date be useful? Why would this fact be useful? So let your revision be guided. Once you've had the kind of broad summary, let it be guided by the type of questions that could come up in the exam. Your teachers may have predictions that you might want to cover. And again, in that link in the description, for free, I have put a list of potential practice questions for if you do Edexcel history on the topics that are in there. So use AI to come up with loads of practice questions. It doesn't really matter if they're wrong or not, because even just going through them and thinking about them is good revision. Then what you can do is go through and plan them. So literally go through and think, right, if this question came up, I would talk about this, this, and this. And if this one came up, I'd talk about this and this. And that's what I did in A-level history, actually. So I went through and I would just keep an A-level politics. I'd keep planning just loads and loads of questions. And that really helped me get in the zone for the exam. It helped me spot any flaws. Now, you may also want to write a couple questions, as that would be really useful, or get some of your past questions marked. Now, that's where the sponsor of today's video, MarkMe, comes in. MarkMe is basically a fantastic website where you can upload handwriting, or you can type up your answer and you put it in and it will mark it for you based on the mark scheme. And crucially, it will give you feedback as well. So it will actually show you, and you can click the show me how feature and it will show you how to improve your writing. It will rewrite parts for you. So there you can directly see how the mark scheme applies to your answer and what you should be changing in your writing to reach the highest marks in history. So I'd really recommend MarkMe. And actually, I've teamed up with them to give an exclusive 20% discount to all of my subscribers when you use code Henry. So I'd really recommend MarkMe. Get it to mark your questions, write a couple questions as well, and that's going to be really useful and beneficial for you. I actually marked my questions with MarkMe, and it marks them accurately as well. I'll put an example here. So I thought that was really good too. So structure is so important in history. Now again, this is where MarkMe can come in because it can help guide you, but you need to know the structure. A lot of students, I think, really underrate how much of history is just structure. There are more easy questions than there might seem. So for example, in Edexcel history, there's a really simple 4-mark follow-up question that I'll put here, an example for Whitechapel, right there. And this question is really easy if you understand the structure. So for example, with that follow-up question and the source, what you need to do is be really, really specific. So don't just say diaries. Say something like, I'd pick a diary from 1998 to 1999 from people who were in this region or something like that. So the point is be specific there. But my broader point, if you don't do Edexcel, you don't do that question or whatever, is basically learn the structure of your questions, because there are more easy marks than you think. In every history paper, there are really simple marks that you can just pick up by knowing how to use the structure correctly. This is the same for everything, okay? So some questions require 3 paragraphs, some questions require an introduction and a conclusion. So understanding the workings of a question is just absolutely crucial. So please do this. If you're panicking about it, then email your teacher or try and find your teacher on the morning of the exam or ask in the comments, that type of thing. But you've got to learn the structure, and trust me, that will help you so much. Now, when you're actually writing a question, I do have a couple more bits of advice there. Just like in geography, I'd recommend using CATs. This means consequently, as a result, this means that, and therefore. These words are really good to put into a history analysis because they help stretch your writing that little bit further each time. So in each paragraph, if you're doing a 12 marker or an explain question or an analysis question, try and use those words. They just make you extend a bit further. Consequently, blah, 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 this led to this, as a result, this, it just extends your writing. Now, please remember, in the questions where, and this does depend on the exam board, but often you have to argue a point, or to what extent do you agree? It'll be something like that. And you've got to remember that you're actually arguing something, so try and be persuasive. One of the reasons I think that helped me get a grade 9 is because I really argued my point. I had to think, I was like, okay, what do I actually think here and why? And then I planned that out carefully and I argued it. Planning is obviously crucial. I know you've been told this before and I know you probably don't do it, but just do it. It's so worth it. I can now tell, when a student doesn't plan, and it's just worth planning. You've been told that before. I know you've been told that before. Timings are really important as well in this history exam. It's very fast paced. You have to write fast. It would be very bad if you're missing out on large chunks of questions. That's where the fail comes in, is if you just miss out on a lot. So make sure you're on track of your timing and you move fast as well. If you go blank with a question, just try and put something down. It's better than nothing. If you really don't know, then my advice is to guess, make up something. I know that's not the best advice, but you've got to try and put something down. And if you're really running out of time, then just bullet point. Get down what you can. So first of all, you want to know what is on that paper and you want to summarize it. Watch broad YouTube overviews, look at timelines, whatever it is that helps you, just get in the zone of that exam. You also want to make sure you are still learning dates, facts, or do Senecas on it. If you're aiming for a 9, then often it's those dates and facts that will set you apart. Learn some really cool niche facts. Have a look at my flashcards and see the type of things I was doing. And you can still learn way more facts than you think. Once you've done that, then I'd really recommend asking AI or using MarkMe AI to basically generate a huge list of potential questions that could come up. Then you need to work your way through them, planning for each of those questions, or at least the questions you don't know, right? If you look at them and you think, oh, that's really easy, I can do that, then that's fine. Find the questions you don't know. You can write a couple if you want, super quick, use MarkMe to mark them, or just go through them. And then in an exam, you need to remember structure, you need to write quite fast, and remember to use those dates and then use cats as well. I know that was quite detailed. I know there was a lot in there, so I'm sorry if I was, it was a bit confusing. I just have so much advice to give. So thank you for watching. Best of luck in your exam. I know that lots of them have been going well so far, so I think that's great. And just come back to this video, please, and let me know how it went, what was on it. I'll be very interested. And don't give up. If it goes badly, then revise hard for the papers 2 and 3. And please subscribe and leave a like as well. I realized that 80% of you who watch my videos are not subscribed. So yeah, please, it would mean a lot to me. I really want to hit 50K by the end of exam season. That is my absolute dream.